When the bus drops me off at home, Dad is mowing the front yard. He stops the mower and I tell him that the squirrels have no place to run now that I am in second grade and the bones of a tall dead guy are in my classroom and can I please go to chorus. He wrinkles up his face like he cannot understand me. And then he tells me yes, but be back for supper at 5:30. So I take my bike to cousin Cora's. Cora lives 3 blocks away, but we never get to ride the same school bus. I ride the country bus, but because I live on the edge of town, right next to the park, she rides the town bus. There are 3 places in Granite City I'm allowed to go without my parents: the park, Cora's, and the library. The park because it is pretty much in my backyard. Chorus because it is only 3 blocks and I don't have to cross the road to get there. And the library because Cora's mom is Aunt Darian the librarian. And because it is right behind Cora's house. When I get there, Cora has changed from her pink school outfit into another pink outfit. If I were taking off pink, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't put on more pink. What do you want to do? She asked. Go to the library. Me too. I want the new Cindy Sparkles book. Eek. I don't like Cindy Sparkles. She is pink and purple and very, very fluffy. Walk or bike? I asked. Walk. The chain came off my bike last night. Bummer. I can probably fix it, I say. But Cora's already skipping down the sidewalk, so I hurry to catch up. Do you ever wonder what would happen if you woke up one morning and Granite City was gone and you were in a magical kingdom and you live in a palace instead of a house and you rode a unicorn instead of a bike? Cora asked, twirling in circles. I don't think so. It is true, I don't think I have ever, not even once, thought about what would happen if I woke up one morning and Granite City was gone and I was in a magical kingdom and lived in a palace instead of a house and rode a unicorn instead of my bike. What would happen? I asked. Cora stopped twirling. Well, I don't know. I guess she has never really thought about it either. Well, I say, you would probably have to have a palace maid to make your bed for you, and you might have a palace cook to make breakfast. Oh yes, Cora spinning again. And you would have 1,000 pink dresses, and 100 diamond tiaras, and a purple rhinestone saddle for your unicorn. And it would be hard to decide where to park your unicorn at school because you probably cannot just tie him to the bicycle rack. I finished for her. I am trying to play along even though I can think of several other problems with Cora's fantasy world. Luckily, we make it to the library doors before I have to tell her that palaces are usually cold, or that stone and dark, only candlelight, you know. At last, cries Cora, we have arrived at the Royal Library. As Cora and I walk inside, I tell her what Mrs. James said about the missing oak tree. It wilted. What What does that mean? Cora asked. I don't know, but I will find out. We find Aunt Darian at the circulation desk. She isn't surprised to see us. I have been saving some brand new books for you too. Cora and I aren't surprised about that. Aunt Darian always saves books for us. She calls it a perk. A perk is what you get when you have a relative who works at the library. For you, Cora. And Darian reaches under the desk. She hands Cora the newest Cindy Sparkle books. It is called Cindy Sparkle's Ballerina Bedtime. Cora hugs it so tightly that glitter falls off the cover. Thanks, Mom, she beams. And for you, Lucy. Aunt Darian hands me a book about fossils. Really old, really cool fossils. Ooh, thanks, I say. Can I check it out and take it home? And Darian smiles. Of course you can, but I haven't cataloged those yet. So why don't you just look around and I'll get them checked in. Then you can check them out, okay? Cora goes straight for the fiction section and I head for non-fiction. Trees are what I have on my mind. I sit down at the computer and a few clicks and taps later, I know it is my lucky day. The library has 4 books about tree diseases. The first book I find isn't very helpful, but the second has a chapter for every kind of tree. I find the one on oaks. And what do you know? There is a whole page about oak wilt, the disease Mrs. James yelled to me. I read until Cousin Cora comes to find me. What are you reading about? Oak wilt. What else? Oh, Cora doesn't sound too interested. Did you know that a sick tree will lose leaves in the spring or summer, and then it won't grow new ones? Oh, I thought trees only lose their leaves in fall. Those are healthy trees, I explained. A sick tree loses them early, and a tree cannot live without its leaves. Why not? Because the leaves use the light from the sun to make food. They need chlorophyll. That is what makes their leaves green. I tell her reading from the book. How do you know this stuff, Lucy? Cora sighs. You are so smart. I just read it right here, I show her. I'm not any smarter than you are. Cora looks around like she is ready to leave, but I am not ready. I still have more to tell her. Did you know that red oaks die from oak wilt, and white oaks can live longer even if they get it? No, Cora looks really confused. I thought oak trees were green. Never mind, I found my answer. Well, I don't even know what the question is, Cora says. The question is, how can we get our squirrels back? Cora thinks for a minute. But why do squirrels need trees at all? Her question reminds me of Miss Filippo and our habitat projects. For shelter and protection from predators. My dog Sloane always tries to catch squirrels when we go to the park, but they scurry up a tree where they are safe, and squirrels need food like acorns. Cora nods. Speaking of food, how about we go back to our own habitats? I am getting hungry. She straightens her invisible tiara, and we head for the door. To the royal palace. To the royal palace, I echoed.